What is up, YouTube? It is me, Tom from the Epic Collective, and today I'm going to be bringing you the game number 6 of the MLG 2012 Winter Arena Championship Series between Dongregu and MKP. Dongregu has just not been able to adapt to the very hyper-aggressive style of MKP, and MKP has just been relentless in this. He hasn't changed it up at all from game to game. Everything. He sends SCVs up with essentially a proxy barracks. So he's 2-raxing it every game with a bunker, and he's finding these nice little niches like he did last game, right here. And then even if the bunker's not finished, he just puts his units right there. Last game he used SCVs as fodder, and that I think turned the tide. The game only lasted 5 minutes, and the Marines were just able to do their DPS and not die, and it was very well done. With that, let's go into the game. Now, in the I think that we might be looking at the end of the series here, because MKP has 1 game over his opponent, and Dongregu has not been able to adapt. He's only gotten 2 wins versus 3. It's a best of 7 series. I believe it's a best of 7. Yeah, it's a best of 7. But in any case, MKP, he's got the first win, and I think he's going to get the last, finishing the series off. Because he's just been relentless, as I said earlier. I mean, he doesn't even bother to wall off because he knows that Dongregu, he's not going to 6-pool. Dongregu hasn't 6-pooled, he hasn't 7-pooled, or 9-pooled. He doesn't need to wall off. He's saving the mining time and just building his depots here. Now, the few games that Dongregu has won, he's been very aggressive with his Mutalisks and with Lings and Banelings. But with a lower economy and against the massive amounts of bio, and with the consistent production and very good macro of MKP, it's just not working. The few games that he has been able to win, he's held off the initial early aggression here, and has managed to not lose any drones, or at the very least, very few drones. Again, both players doing the exact same builds as they have been doing. The 15 pull from no a second barracks this time, it looks like. So that's a little bit different, but otherwise it's exactly the same. Spawning pool, single extractor. Well, the extractors have varied for Dongregu, but only by 1. He hasn't done any crazy fast Mutalisk builds. So 15 hatch, 15 pool, very safe, very standard, but apparently not against this hyper aggression, the hyper-like aggression from MKP. The single Marine here, MKP is not going. Oh, I suppose he is. For a second, I thought he was cutting Marine production, and I thought that was rather odd. But I suppose not. It does look like he's getting supply blocked for a few seconds here. Not the biggest deal. Not stopping his production of Marines at all. But does delay by a few seconds. Of course, I'm nitpicking here as I find topics to discuss about, because solo casting is hard, especially when you do it 6 games in a row, as I have been now. And I do thank everyone for their criticism, their support, you know, talking to me or just telling me through a like or dislike what you think of my series and my videos, especially the quality. Quality is something that I'm working very hard to improve on. I think I've fixed the background noise. I've listened to the videos already on YouTube, and it doesn't seem to be there, but I've been going from game to game, and I haven't spent too much time looking over the videos before I put them up, which is probably something that I will fix in the near future. Or not fix, but change. Something I would like to see and that I have seen from other players before, sending a Marine or two here, just picking off this Overlord. Denying the Scout. Not the biggest deal, but it drives Zerg players insane when they lose their Overlords. Especially when they do not get any scouting information. Like the fact that 2 refineries have been taken. Or the fact that there are few Marines. Instead, it's going to be what looks like Reactor Hellions, probably into Banshee play. In any case, this Overlord will be going in rather soon, probably at the 6:30 to 7 mark. 3 Queens on the field, 1 for creep spread, which Dongregu hasn't been doing the best job with recently. A 3rd base going down for MKP. I think MKP is in for the macro game with having seen this. 40 drones to 32 SCVs. With the 3rd going down for Dongregu. So I think that MKP is just completely changing it up for this last game. And instead of the hyper-aggressive style that he has been doing, he's just going straight into a super intense macro build. Followed up by, double upgrades. Siege tanks. And his bio. So he's probably going to be doing bio-heavy mech. As he has been doing for the past while, with a bit of Hellion harassment. It looks like he lost 1 Hellion there. It's lost tab. Nope, I guess not. Okay. Another Hellion was just separated. I had to check the map. There goes the Overlord. I don't know what it saw. I'll check.
Our forces are under attack.
Oh, barely escaping. But he didn't see anything at all. So MKP has managed to keep Dongregu in the dark. 5 roaches just peeking out, but there are enough Marines and even a tank here with siege mode that it won't really do anything until Dongregu is backing off. But this very quick 3rd is definitely going to help him in the long run. I don't know if Dongregu is aware of this. Yeah, Dongregu is not aware of this 3rd, and that will be a huge deal. He thinks that he's up on bases against the Terran, but he is not. Not at all. And, that's just such a big deal. Because without this knowledge, he doesn't know that he needs to either take a 4th base or attack now. Now, if we go look at the production tab, it looks like Dongregu is going Infestors this round. Double upgrades, Infestation Pit with Roach Warren, and Roach Speed, plus additional. So it looks like he's going a very tech-heavy build. Lots of upgrades, lots of Infestors, very cost-efficient. So he will be fine against this 3rd base, but still, every mineral counts, especially when you're going bio, and you can just pour them into Marines and throw an endless number of them at your enemy. It does look like a reactor's going down, so either Vikings, which would be too early, or medevacs. So Marine medevac tank will probably be out from MKP, and I think he might go for a 13-minute push. Make his way across the map at that point, but he could easily just be macroing up, getting those upgrades. He's working on 2-2, versus no upgrades for the Zerg player, and so this will be devastating if there's an engagement, especially if MKP can manage to engage at home with the siege tanks already set up. Unless Dongregu manages to get 3 free tanks or so, or at least a significant number of tanks that it matters, then we could be looking at MKP closing the series. 4th base going down for Dongringu. So MKP not going for his 4th base quite yet. He feels very comfortable on 3, which makes me think that he is going to be pushing out soon. A lot of tank. Yep, I think he's pushing out. And I mean, he is going for the Greater Spire and the Ultralisk Captain, so he's going to be very tech heavy. But his units are very spread out. I mean, if you notice, and so he will be picked to pieces by this army. Not even picked, just demolished. Yeah, these siege. This is awful. Going to the units lost. Already 1,200 resources north, and one of the first major engagements have been lost for Dongringu. When these overlords go down, Dongringu could be supply blocking. Not supply blocked, but he's very close. But if he can push Marines up here, uncontested, he could easily take off a few. And this siege line is very well positioned. MKP up in supply now against Dongringu. Oh, catching these infestors unprotected, huge win. Huge win. Worth the loss of Marines. The loss of some Marines. MKP going to fall back for now, at least. But I mean, now that they're even in supply, this will be more of a fight. But the second army is coming up for MKP, and this is just going to be. I mean, he's on 2-2 versus 2-0, and so MKP is going to be with the upgrade advantage. He can pick off these overlords or any of his tech. Oh, Dongringu is supply blocked, and so he won't be able to create any more of his high-tech units. And he has to rely on what he has now. He's losing units until he's no longer supply blocked, but, I mean, Ultralists are being picked off at the bottom of this ramp, and this is almost over. MKP is comfortably sitting on 3 bases. Not quite mined out in his main. This is weird. Not quite sure why he did that. Not sure at all. He probably just had a misclick. But yeah, MKP is demolishing, and there's the GG by Dongringu. MKP has closed the series and taken the championship title for himself, winning the 2012 Winter Arena by MLG. And that was a very well played game. He changed his style to something very macro heavy. He got the early 3rd base, taking it at the same time as Dongringu, and he was able to catch Dongringu at a time of transition where he could. And then this Dongringu in addition got supply blocked for a while there, and that I think made quite a big difference. Because I mean, imagine this fight with just a few more Ultralists or even Broodlords on the field, and it could have been very different. In any case, I'm Tom from the Epic Collective, and I wish you happy gaming.